Chris Broussard and Jim Jackson are back with us. Let's return to the NBA, where it's been a bad week for the Eastern Conference, which saw three of its biggest stars, Paul George, Jimmy Butler, Paul Millsap, move west either through trades or free agency. The East was already the weaker conference, but now the talent disparity is bordering on ridiculous. Kyle Hurd, should the NBA be concerned about how low the West is?
Yeah, and I think one of the things the NFL's really done through the years is, during the Trump election and ratings dip, and they're constantly aware of ratings, and they tweak and they tweak and they tweak, and the overtime and short and quick games. This is one of these where the NBA's got to take the temperature of the room and go, okay, I got two TV partners. Every other year, one of them gets the Eastern Conference. I think it's time to start reseeding. 1 through 16, make it interesting. Listen, these leagues have all made changes. Baseball's lowered and raised the mound 20 times.
Wild card. No,
yeah, I mean, this is what leagues do. And the world changes. This company, you have to stay fluid and on your feet. And I think the NBA has got to look at it. And we got two TV partners spending $1.5 billion a year. We got to tweak this puppy.
I heard y'all talking about this, I think, on the Herd earlier today. And I have to say, first I was taken back because I was like, man, that's crazy. But now I think I do buy into that the player, you can't disappoint. When everybody knows, hey, the regular season ain't that important, guys don't play hard, your best product is your playoff product. You got to put your best players and best teams on the court at that time.
Yeah, I agree with Colin. Top 16 records or 16 seeds, but you have to go further. Because right now it's not fair. The Western Conference teams are playing a much tougher schedule than the East is. So don't just go by records. Even out the schedule, you play everybody roughly 3 times. You play all but 5 teams 3 times every season. And that would discourage tanking because Cleveland would have been the 5th seed. Ooh, and they would have met Golden State like in the second round or something. Yep. So now you're going to have teams try to play harder so you can get a top seed to avoid.
He just went next level on that.
He took it to, but you think about this too. The free agency market, we're talking about going from east to west. You really didn't have a top-tiered player, all-star, that really made the jump like that. It was via through trades or things like that where you saw Eastern Conference talent go to the Western Conference. If you think about it, LeBron stayed east. Yeah. Kyle Lowry stayed east. DeRozan stayed east. Carmelo stayed. Dwayne Wade stayed east.
People who don't matter stayed east.
Well, not really. But most of the guys that moved were via trades, okay, most of the time. So if I'm the NBA, yes, I'm concerned because from a TV product, Colin, to what you're talking about, we're talking about looking at competitive nature once we get to the playoff. And if you're an Eastern Conference, if you from a television perspective, and it's not as competitive, it's not as impelling.
But you know what?
Compelling to watch.
The NBA's classic. We're always blaming the players for stuff. This is ownership greed. You want to make the playoffs more interesting? 3-game first rounder.
Or go back to 5.
Well, they used to do 3,
then we played 5. It made a big difference playing 5 games.
Upsets.
Because that first game was so critical, in particular if you were the higher seed, if you gave that first game up, that totally changed the complexity of the game.
March Madness is huge. It's the second most bet thing in America to the Super Bowl. If they're willing in college basketball to let Duke lose to Belmont, I'm going to lose sleep if the Warriors lose to the Bulls.
You will, though.
Yeah,
I mean, you want you don't want those type of upsets in the NBA.
But by the way,
especially not in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, if a 12 upsets a 5, that's great. That's exciting. But if the Warriors go down in a 3-game series,
you
don't want that.
No.
By the way, Duke and Kentucky, Michigan State, there are years they all lose early. The March Madness survives based on that drama.
I know, but that's a 1-game one-off. When you got to put someone in a 7-game series and you're stuck watching Toronto.
These 7-game series in the East, first round, are awful.
Well, I think, look, during the regular season, too, if you even out the schedules, you get Golden State, Cleveland 3 times. So it's even better for the fans in so many ways. They have to do this because this is not cyclical. Yeah. This is not, it'll come around. It's been this way for like 20 years. Since Michael Jordan won his last ring in '98, the West has won 13 of the last 19 championships.
And it would be worse
it's not
without
just about
one
championships.
guy.
Exactly. LeBron won 3 of those.
And it was Detroit that was in there because of the Eastern Conference.
Exactly. Like Phoenix missed the playoffs one year with 48 wins. I mean, it's been this way for 2 decades. And the management, I think, in the West is just better.